Dominic. First of all, you finished top of your group, 3 clean sheets, but you only scored 2 goals in those 3 games. Do you think we've seen the real England yet in this tournament?
I think from a creative perspective, there's a lot more to come from us. I think first and foremost in tournament football, it's important that you don't concede goals, because more often than not, the margins are quite small. So I think that keeping a clean sheet is very important. But then to obviously 2-1 nils, we still get the 3 points, but we'd like to be a bit more creative and create more opportunities.
Has anything changed in your approach? Of the instructions from the manager changed, for instance, that you need to be a bit more cautious, a bit more careful, not be attacking as much as you have maybe in the past?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just important that we continue to build on what we've been doing and what we've been doing in training and what we've been working on. It's important that we stick to our identity and play our game and not kind of cater for anything else.
What about this Germany side? A lot of people are saying that it's not a vintage German side. I think one German journalist described them as a construction site. Is there any danger that people are underestimating how good they really are, because they're in a really tough group and their record in tournaments is incredible?
When you say anybody, it depends who you're referring to. I think we as a group are definitely not underestimating the challenge that we've got and the quality that they have. It's like any game that we've gone into prior to this tournament and coming into it, we do our due diligence and work on how we can counteract the way that they play.
What is it about Germany that makes them different from other national teams? What's unique about facing them? Is it their mentality, or?
I think they always tend to play a certain way. They're well oiled, and they play a certain system more often than not. And I suppose it's there's big history with England and Germany playing against each other. So maybe it's that people think, but we're not too concerned with that. It's another game of football which we're going to go and try and win.
Obviously, you've had a fantastic season for Everton, but realistically, you're not going to start for England unless Harry Kane is unavailable. How difficult is that?
Are you picking the team?
How difficult is that for you to deal with? Or, for instance, do you think you could play as a 2 up front with Harry Kane if the manager changed the system?
I'm not here to talk about who's going to play and who's not going to play. For me, it's about being ready when I'm needed and staying sharp in training for if I'm called upon. Harry's the captain and the number 9 at the moment, and he's the man that's leading the line, and I'll support him 100% and make sure that I'm ready when needed.
And the FA chief executive yesterday talked about how impressed they were with the job that Gareth is doing as the England manager. What is he like to work with from a player's perspective, and how much of an impact do you think he's had on English football since he took the job?
I think he's had a massive impact. I think he's modernised the way that England play, and he's incorporated, you look at the age range that's in the team now. There's a lot of young players, but also experienced at the same time. So I think that the style that we play now is much more modern, and he kind of encourages us to play with freedom. And my instructions when I first came into the England setup was, to continue doing what I've been doing for my club here, and that's all you really need to kind of take confidence from that.
And finally, for me, obviously after the Euros, you'll go on holiday, then you'll go back to your club. You had a great relationship with Carlo Ancelotti. Do you think you could have a great relationship with Rafa Benitez going forward?
In all honesty, I don't know. We don't know who the manager is yet, do we? So for me, I haven't really been concentrating too much on that, to not letting it take my attention away from playing for my country and being ready for the game on Tuesday. So that's all I can really say on that.
Thanks, Carve. Now we'll briefly go online to James Savundra from TalkSport.
Dominic, you won the World Cup with England under-20s in 2017. I just wonder, what did that teach you about tournament football, and how helpful an experience is that heading into this tournament this summer?
Say that again, sorry. How hurtful?
How helpful?
Oh, helpful, sorry. Yeah, it was very helpful. I think that was my first experience of tournament football at 20 years of age, and obviously to go all the way and win it was a fantastic experience. We was away in a bubble in South Korea, and I think it just helped me on my journey to get to where I am now. I think it was obviously on a different scale to where I'm playing at the moment, but I think when we got to the semi-final and the final over there, it kind of caught a lot of wind over here, but I definitely think it's prepared me in a good way for this tournament.
Jordan Pickford's got 3 clean sheets in a row now. How do you feel like he's developed in the last year or so? From the outside, he seems a lot more calm, a lot more relaxed than he perhaps was in the past.
Yeah, well, obviously I know Pickers very well, training and playing with him every day, so I think he's been magnificent for England, and he uses confidence and calmness, and he's the best man to be in between the sticks. I think the England's number 1 role takes on a lot of pressure, and I think he handles that very well.
Thanks, James. We'll go back in the room to Ollie Foster from BBC.
Dominic, hi there. I mean, since you knew that you were going to be playing Germany, can you describe how training has been? Do you sense it stepping up in intensity?
I think it would have stepped up regardless of who we were playing. We were obviously aware of the test that we've got in front of us, but it's the knockout stages now, and it's crunch time, so we're all as focused as we have been from the start of the tournament. So obviously top the group was our main objective, and then we've got a big test on Tuesday now.
You touched on it just there before about Harry Kane. Since you made your debut 9 months ago, I think you've shared the pitch with Harry for something like 20 minutes, and I think that's when you were chasing the game against Denmark and you were down to 10, so that was slightly different. Is it a tough gig? Do you find it tough mentally, knowing that you're sort of his understudy in here?
I think coming into the tournament, I was aware of the role that I might have to play, so I prepared myself for that, and all I can do is make sure that I play that role to the best of my ability. I'm a player like anyone else that wants to play and get minutes and affect games, and when you can't do that, sometimes it does get frustrating, but I think that's only human.
When Aaron Ramsdale came into the squad, he talked brilliantly about, look, I know I'm probably not going to get any minutes whatsoever, but I have got such a huge role to play with the rest of the squad. Do you sort of chuck yourself into that kind of mentality?
Well, it's a team game. Tournament football requires every man, and I might not have featured personally so much so far this tournament, but my part to play might be the important part, in the coming game. So that's the kind of mindset I take and how I go into training every day.
What do you take out of training every day? Do you look at Harry Kane? Do you look at Raheem Sterling? And do you think this is a learning experience for me as well?
I think every day's a learning experience, I've been in the setup for 9 months now. And it's a place where I worked, very hard to get to. So I'm grateful to be here, but at the same time, I want to, like I said before, make my mark and bring what I've brought to the table. I've just scored 16 Premier League goals.
I mean, you started the season, absolutely on fire. That's what turned Gareth Southgate's head. You might have had a goal from the penalty spot if Jordan Henderson hadn't nicked it off you coming into this championship. I presume you would more than be happy to step up and take one, should that be needed.
Yeah, more than happy. Confident enough from the spot. I've took one before for England, so yeah, more than happy.
And just finally from me, we were talking about England, Germany in history, but I mean, I don't think you were born for the Euro 96, no?
Year after.
About a year after. I think Jordan Henderson was born halfway through Italian 90. I mean, he's the old man of the squad. Do you look back at then as the 2010 as being the Germany that you remember, the goal that never was from Frank Lampard? What does it actually mean to you?
Yeah, I suppose so. That's more in my memory, that one. But for me, I guess it's kind of, it's not as personal as, perhaps someone of your age. For me, I'm just looking forward to the test and looking forward to, writing our own history.
You did guess my age. I was behind the goal at Euro 96. Working, I wasn't even a kid. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ollie. We'll jump back online to Matt Reed from Kick Magazine.
Hi, Dom. I'd love to hear about what has been the greatest moment of your life to date, anything inside and outside of football, and where the last 2 weeks or a little bit longer has ranked on your kind of your tiering of great moments of your life, and where playing against Germany, even for a minute or for the whole match or scoring a goal, where those kind of moments would rank for you.
So you want the greatest moment of my life?
Yeah, to date.
To date? Wow. When my mum got married, that was a pretty special day. In football terms, scoring, the goal in the World Cup final, making my England debut, scoring on my England debut. They were some pretty special moments.
And where would featuring against Germany, or more importantly, for now, personally, sorry, where has the experience of being involved in this squad for the last few weeks and being a European Championships player ranked? And what about playing against Germany?
Oh, well up there, of course. It's something, me and my dad have had a few conversations whilst I've been here of how, we used to speak about days like this, and as a young kid watching England and watching football, it's how do I get there? And am I willing to put in the work required to eventually get here? And, thankfully I am here, and I'm very grateful for that, and it's been a great experience so far. And I'm very privileged, to play for England. I love putting on the shirt, and it fills me with pride, and I know it makes my family very proud.
And if you got a chance to play against Germany?
It'd be well up there, as long as we win.
Thanks, Matt. Next we'll go to Dan Salisbury-Jones from ITV.
Hi, Dominic. Just a quick question about Harry Kane, because you're probably the biggest expert for around 50 miles around here on what a striker in form looks like. Do you see him coming good in this tournament?
Of course, he's got undeniable quality, and I think he leads the line, he's the captain, so he's probably the first person people look at, to kind of criticise. But for me, he's done it consistently for a few seasons now, so I've got no doubt that he'll perform on the big stage.
Thanks, Dan. And next we'll go to Amy, who's here on behalf of Crouchy's Year Late Euro Show.
Hi. Are you watching the show? And if you are, or if you're not, what can we do as a show? Obviously, we're so supportive of the England squad, but what more can we do to show you our support? Do we want Crouchy reinventing the robot, or what can we do to show you we're backing you 100%?
I think Crouchy's Crouchy, he's got a great personality, but if he wants to bring out the robot again, I think that'd get the lads going.
Are you watching?
I've watched a little bit, I can't say I've watched too much.
We've got loads this week. Thank you.
Thank you very much.